well, sit your ass down until I'm through it. I remember beatboxing and freestyling with Super Chick. That nigga caught 15 years over some stupid shit. We used to dream about this rap thing becoming lucrative, but now my whole aim has changed. I'm chasing rule and shit. My dogs came to bring the pain, but we not Wu-Tang. We walk in, we shut shit down. That's how we do things. These rap niggas lie, we come to get in that true game. And all my rhymes based on a true story like 2 Chainz. How did the blue flames down though? Headed to the top, we started off at the ground floor. Y'all niggas brown nose, like y'all on the down low. Game over, what you clowns still hanging around for? That's like work, no sweat. I got a bunch of soldiers I can go get. They think they doing something, they ain't no threat. And I ain't fell victim to you whole shit. No sweat, no sweat. They try to still be running through their whole set. They think they doing something, they ain't no threat. And I ain't fell victim to you whole shit. No sweat. No sweat. No sweat. No sweat. No sweat. No sweat.
Any man give his life for Yahweh Shai, Machaataza, Christ, and fall up under that UPK banner. It's my brother and my blood, and I will die and kill for him if necessary.
We ain't gonna freeze tonight, as you can tell. Oh, you think so? Alright, we see some class again. Especially when you think that's strong. Nah, she ended up cooking. She's going to turkey Oh, yeah, you was on John. Okay. Hey, that's what you laughing at all the time. Don't you laugh at all the Of course, hey, you ready.
Thunderbar. That's one word.
West till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
I'm
one west till they bury me. I be one west till they death till they bury me.
They do that with certain words, but it was taught to me as two.
I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west till the death till they bury me. I be one west till the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy and get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start, make you live again. Getting dividends, so we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Nominally a domino. So what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical, guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to the pussy niggas just popping shit. Team of all stars, I coach them up like a Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina, so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way I vomit this and regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoke you up like a parliament. The flow been stupid. Shit's gotten retarded since all the dominance of one west rising to prominent. Cause I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, mute my maneuvers, but I ride like I got good vibes for Uber. Rhymes hard like they been viewed by Medusa. 9 million Lucas, 17 in the ruler. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Avocado for the regatta, niggas swallowing they win every dollar. They ride by like a pilot like the semi-holler. A showstopper in the promise in the teeny bopper. But now I'm going on my patrol and bring me in my pocket. I put the digits on the block, modify the chopper. Ready for ready and that's working mama. No marijuana say I got the loudest silence on it. When I'm a born and ain't no rapper do it like I do it. A lot of spitting and rice, but when they eat so, none of them can get to the fire or rang with me. And I had them niggas feel like a tire, down the beat. And I'm still dope as a piper. Every bar burn hard like a spoon with a lighter. Fuse with nighter. Women coming through with the title because you
Oh, I got you. I do it tonight.
I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west till the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west till the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west till the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
Yeah, I'm gonna catch it. We'll do one more and then we're gonna get started.
Test 1, 2. 2, 2, 2. 2. All that only was to be a gangster. All that only was to be a gangster. The Lord said, confession good for the soul. So right now,
All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. And shot call. To be known with them niggas letting shots off. Either that or the right hand to the top dog. Funny how we see vanity, not the lives lost. Can't be focused on a life that's hopeless. Out there pumping, not doing the Lord to kill you for that hocus pocus. Used to roll with niggas that cook dope with weaponry. Same ones claim they love you. I had your life in jeopardy. And I know my mother wants success for me. But that G should take a girl straight to ecstasy. Remember running with bruh. Even though we did the wrong thing, my life would've been a lot different if I fell up under Rob's wing. Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. That we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up niggas. Not knowing that them handcuffs custom made. The all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I
like a soft ass. I didn't care, I wanted fear when I walked past. In a place where a black man's blood is cheap. I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street. Pissing in the cup, back and forth to court, found in DC school. I swear it felt like I crawled on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running. All it was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Isupk until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck them grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was realer as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand, gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more mighty make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jail. Shit, I needed help. But I was locked up and the judge put man on the shelf. Heavy crying cause it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. Cause most these niggas lying, pop smoke. One time for the most high, he made me a cutthroat. Cause all I ever wanted was to smash my opponents. Stacking cash, not knowing it wouldn't last. Then God, I hope you accept my atonement. Cause all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was a gangster. Decisions that I made before the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time when I was just a stranger.
Hey, the more you learn, you'll learn it. Hebrew is easier than English. Like, this shit actually makes sense. Alright, clap it up. Man, feel good to be back with the brothers and the sisters that you actually know care about you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Damn right.
And, you know, this is a family right here. This is the Isupk.
Right.
Under Commander General Yohana, coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. This is the Charlotte class, the Friday night class. I am Officer Machaataza, Officer 50, I ain't nobody. And Officer Abraham asked me to fill in for him tonight. Hopefully he'll be back next week, rocking and rolling. Of course, you know what I'm saying, we miss him. You know, even Commander General Yohana a couple of weeks ago commended him on how good of a class he teaches.
Right.
If anybody in Israel has ever heard him teach a class, you know that man goes into it.
Right.
He's charismatic. He goes into definitions. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully one day we all in here, you know, especially hope we can teach half a class the way that Officer Abraham can.
Right.
So
Right.
hopefully he'll be back next week. But until then, you know, us, you know, Charlotte cats, we'll hold it down for him. You know what I'm saying? Make sure everything is straight.
That's right.
So So just to get started, man, tonight really it's gonna be something real. And the only reason I wanted to go into this is because honestly, on social media and in person, for some reason, of course, you know, one of the plagues of the Most High, this COVID-19 that everybody is so definitely afraid of. You know, unless you're in the Isupk. Everybody's trying to do this whole come together and, you know, let's pray together, let's do this together, let's do that together. When, you know, doing all this stuff together is why this thing is spread all over the earth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The reason that the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community at the moment has the highest dying rate out of anybody who's getting this virus is because we don't know how to stay away from heathens. Right. We don't know how to stay away from people who's not our people. When you look at history, this is a fact. When you look at history, if you look at people groups in histories and where pandemics start from, they always start from a people who are not us.
Right.
They always start with a Eurocentric people or Caucasian people. They always start with Asiatic or Asian people. They always start with East Indian people. They don't start with us. Everybody brings it to us because we don't know how to tell them to stay the hell away from us.
Right.
You know, and we always trying to be so nice. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, Christ was not nice to other nations.
Damn right.
He was not nice to anybody but Israel. And why is that? Does anybody know? Go ahead.
Because he was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
You damn right. Get that brother a hand. He was only sent to one people group.
Right.
And if anybody has any questions that's on this topic, if you feel like Christ was sent for everybody, even after I start bringing these scriptures out, like this very first one, which is actually an angel speaking, if you have any questions about it, please let me know so I can go ahead and make sure that you get as edified as you can tonight on this false doctrine called Christianity. So let's go into the book of Matthew, if you could, for me, Trooper by Eyes. Let me get Matthew chapter 1, verse 21. As a matter of fact, let me get Yo Man Coat to read that.
Okay.
Read whenever you got it. Mm-hmm.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 21, verse 21.
Got the one verse.
Salaki. 1 and 21.
Right, 1 and 21.
Salaki.
No, you too wild. We're gonna get straight to it. Like I said, this is all the verses we're going into are going to specifically show that Christ only came from one people group. And again, it's all gonna tie into each other. Like I said, the Bible backs up the Bible. You know, precept after precept, line upon line, it all goes together. The Bible doesn't teach one thing in one place and then teaches another thing in another.
Right.
The Old Testament was about Israel. I guarantee you, after tonight, you're gonna realize that Christ in the New Testament was only for Israel as well. You got it?
Con.
Go ahead.
This is the book of St. Matthew's, chapter 1, verse 21.
Uh-huh.
All Akim, Al-Wakim got it?
God.
And she shall bring forth a son,
And she shall bring forth a son. Go ahead.
and thou shalt call his name Yahushua.
Yeah, shall call his name Yahushua, or Jesus Christ for everybody who doesn't know Yahushua, the Hebrew name of Christ.
Right.
So she, of course, is Mary, and shall bring forth a son. Keep going. If y'all didn't know, this is a prophecy. Keep going.
For he shall save his people.
Who?
His people.
It should save his people or everybody?
His people.
So everybody knows that Christ was, what was Christ? What kind of people group was he? Where was he from? Was he from a tribe? What nation was he from? Anybody know? Go ahead.
Tribe of Judah.
He's from the tribe of Judah, which is what?
Israelite.
Which is an Israelite. Easy to understand.
Right.
Simple. This is why these are called milk scriptures. Simple, easy to understand knowledge about the Bible.
Right.
There's nothing, scientifically outrageously, abundantly, great about something that I'm saying. This is something simple. Very simple. But for some reason you won't learn something like this in a church or anywhere else. They skip over something like this and they try to do what's called eisegesis, which is where they just get one scripture where that they can vaguely make it sound like something that's theirs. This is straight to the point, is it not?
Come.
Go ahead, Trooper.
So Salakia, they try to say that his people is anybody who accept him.
And I'm glad you said that because we definitely gonna get into that. Keep going because there's more on that verse which is gonna stop that.
For he shall save his people from their sins.
From their what?
From their sins.
Can anybody tell me the definition of sin? You go ahead. Go ahead.
Sin is transgression against the law.
Transgression against the law. Who is the law given to? Go ahead.
The Israelites.
Does anybody got a precept?
For transgression or for who the law was given?
For who the law was given to? Because if it won't given to you, you can't transgress it. It ain't yours.
Right.
Come.
I know y'all know where it is. That's why I'm trying to give y'all time to look for it. Ooh-wee. Boy, if Officer Abraham would see y'all right now. He just asked this same question 2 weeks ago. Come on now. Young men and troopers only. All right, y'all got 5 seconds. All right, it's in the book of Psalms. I'm giving you a hint. Did y'all know it was in Psalms, what I'm looking for? Okay. Oh, you was all the way in front of the book. It's in Psalms. Psalms 147, 19, and 20. Get that for me. This is something y'all have to have this in your back pocket. Have to have this in your back pocket. Yeah, I know you do. I know you do. We all do. We just got to. That's one of them things. That's how you know if you staying in it all the time, then this will just pop up in your head. You know, just a sidebar. Certain scriptures will stick with you. Like one of the things that always will stick with me and never leave me is Romans 9, 3-5.
Right.
Because it proves so much in just 3 verses. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You got it?
Come.
Go ahead and read that for me since you got it.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showeth his word unto Jacob.
Unto who?
Unto Jacob.
Unto Jacob. Go ahead. That's Israel, ain't it? I believe so. Keep going.
His statutes and his judgments unto Israel.
His statute and his judgments unto Israel. So he gave us the law.
That's right.
He gave us his statutes and his judgments. Keep going.
Verse 20. He has not dealt so with any nation.
He hath not dealt so with any nation. So it's just Israel. It's just Jacob.
That's right.
And his descendants.
Right.
So the law was given to us. So now when we go back to Matthew 1 and 21, if somebody could go back to that real quick, you still got it for me? Yo, man, go ahead.
Come. Start from the beginning.
Yeah, start all the way from the beginning.
This is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 1, verse 21.
Mm-hmm.
And she shall bring forth a son,
Yep.
and thou shalt call his name Yahweh.
Right. Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
For he shall save his people
His people, possessive. Go ahead.
from their sins.
From their sins. His people from their sins.
Right.
So you have to have been given the law and the statutes and the judgments, like it says in Psalms, for you to even break the law into sin. What did we say the definition of sin was? Go ahead, Trooper.
Transgression of the law.
Transgression of the law.
That's right.
Once again, this is simple, easy to understand, Bible, basic milk scriptures. No doctrine, no nothing. It's just, hey, if you read it, it's right there in front of you.
Right.
You can match the Bible up front and back. It does not contradict itself. It's that easy. He only came from one people group. Get me the book of, matter of fact, we staying in Matthew. We're going to go to chapter 10. And we're going to go 5 and 7. Now, again, if we would just do like the law says, we wouldn't get COVID-19.
Right.
Because we wouldn't be around heathens that eat bats and get COVID-19. They wouldn't be allowed around us. We tell them to stay away, especially when we see the first one get sick. Oh, no, y'all got to go.
Damn right.
What did they just do to did y'all see what they just did to them black people in China at the McDonald's?
Right.
The nerve of them. You saw what they did?
Come.
They kicked the black people out the black Americans, they kicked them out of the McDonald's in China
Get out of here.
on this week.
Good night.
And they recorded it.
Right.
They kicked them out. Like, y'all started the pandemic, but y'all kicking us out like we dirty.
Wow.
It's just like, I'm gonna tell y'all something, because Koreans are Moabites too. When I was in Korea, they dislike us and think we're so disgusting. If you sit beside an older Korean on the train, they get up because they don't want to sit beside you, or they hold their shirt over their nose. That's what they think about you, black man, Hispanic man, and Native Indian man. That's something I experienced firsthand. So you can't tell me that everybody loves everybody when you go to other countries, they don't.
Good.
They really don't.
Right.
And even in America, that's a facade because they don't give a damn about you.
Right.
They don't. And that's why I'm saying, you know, it's Machaataza Yahweh Shah that I even had the opportunity to go to the other side of the world and even experience, like, damn, it ain't just, you know, it ain't just our oppressor over here. It's everywhere. They literally have a disdain for us. They think we're only good for sports and entertainment. From their words, they think we all rap like Tupac and they all think we play basketball like Michael Jordan.
Right.
That's what I was told by them. Yeah, I mean, of course it's funny, but that's the truth. That's what they think of us. And they also think that we all have guns. Don't let me leave that part out. They are very scared of us because they think we're violent animals who all have guns and are very dangerous. That is something also that I was told. I'm not BSing none of y'all. This is what I was told by them. Go ahead. You got the scripture?
Con.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 5.
Mm-hmm.
Akim, walk them, got it?
Gone.
These 12 Yahushua sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles,
Keep going.
and into any city of the Samaritans.
Uh-huh.
Enter ye not.
Keep going.
Verse 6, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
To where?
The lost sheep of the house of Israel.
So everybody knows the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I mean, it says it in the name. It's Israel. They're just the lost sheep. They're the ones who lost their way. The ones who don't follow their own culture.
Right.
Who don't follow their own God. Maybe the ones who got conquered or maybe even got enslaved. Y'all know we done been enslaved multiple times. It wasn't just in America. We got enslaved in Africa. Then before Africa, we got enslaved in Rome. Before Rome, we got enslaved by the Muslims. We got enslaved by the Assyrians. We keep getting enslaved because we keep letting heathens in.
Right.
Like it blows our mind, of course, because we studying and we in the truth and everything like that. But obviously, it has to be something to it because we keep doing it over and over again. It's hard-headed, stiff-necked, man.
Gone.
The scriptures don't lie. Like, we just hard-headed and stiff-necked. Now, I'm going to ask y'all a question. Just an example of us being hard-headed and stiff-necked. How many people do y'all know who, when you tell them about this truth, they say they know it, and they still don't come to class? If you know somebody like that, raise your hand. That's, 99% of the class? I mean, I tell y'all about people in my family all the time. They know this. It's just, you got some offers.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We in the coat.
We're in a cult because instead of following pagan holidays,
Right.
we want to follow the holidays of our forefathers.
Right.
Instead of following pagan holidays, we want to follow the holidays that our God, our power told us to follow. Go ahead.
And what they don't know is cult is short for culture. So yeah, we're in a cult, but we're following our culture.
You damn right. You damn right. We following our culture, and that's the most important thing about it. And that's what also makes it. That's what makes it so annoying.
Right.
I was gonna say sad, but I'm past that. It makes it so annoying when you try to talk to somebody and they try to say, "Oh, I don't want to do that," because I'm like, why? I've showed you all of this. You don't dispute it. You actually even come to agreement with it, but then you just say, "But we don't have to do that no more." You know. I mean, why does it matter? Why does it matter? Go ahead.
They want us to be soft spoken instead of walk around talking about Jesus saves and Jesus loves you guys.
Yeah,
Right.
they want you to they want you to be soft, especially the men. They want you to be. They want the men to be soft. They want the women to be hard and burly. And now our family now our family system is broken. Now just about every black person you know. How many of y'all grew up without your father in the house? 1, 2, 3. Y'all grew up with your fathers in the house. Hey, that's you know how rare that is. For instance, this of course, you know, here I go with my life stories. I grew up with my father and my mother. They've been married for over 45 years. How many families do you think that I know that was black, that I hung out with, that I grew up with, that I was gang banging with, selling drugs with, doing all the other stupid stuff I was doing with? How many families do you think I knew that was like that?
None.
Not one. Ain't that a damn shame?
God.
None of my black Hispanic friends that I went to school with, none of their parents were together. And as a child, I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. I was like, well, why didn't your parents stay together? I don't know. They didn't have an answer either. We was kids. They just knew they had to go see their daddy every now and again because he lived on the other side of town, you know, where usually he done got a heathen woman now.
Right.
And they would have to go over there and see him. A lot of times I would go with him. And we, you know, be chilling with them. I'd be like, man, your dad is so cool. I don't understand why y'all's mom and y'all's dad ain't together. Our people are that destroyed. Won't even stay together. And then the mama is always the dad done found a heathen woman and the mama's still single, jump around from man to man.
Right.
She'll have a man this month, and then she'll have another man this month. Then she'll have another man this month. I mean, and y'all don't think that's being destroyed? Who do we even learn that from? Because historically, before segregation, we didn't do that.
No.
Right.
Wow.
Our family system was better than our oppressor's family system. That is a fact.
Yeah, right.
That is a historical fact that you can look up.
Tight foundation.
You damn right. Before the 1950s and 60s, our family situation was almost 3 times better than our oppressor. They were getting divorced left and right before divorce was even popular.
Right.
And our family structure was beautiful. You had shows like Good Times.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that they killed the father off is because they wanted to start pushing that single mother thing.
Right.
And if y'all, that's also something you can look up.
Right.
Like, go ahead.
Also, that's when Big Mama used to have 15, 20 kids.
15, 20 kids.
No child support.
No child support. You know what I'm saying? The neighbors would help you take care of your kids because your neighbor was your brother and your sisters.
Right.
Your same people, your same, people group, your same race.
Right.
You could go to sleep with I'm telling you, man, look, my parents is old. I used to hear all them stories. You could go to sleep with the screen door open because it was too hot in the house.
Right.
If somebody was having marriage problems, they could come to the next door, until everything calmed down, and then she would go back home, after her husband, he might have been too stressed out at work, been drinking too much. Next thing you know, he going off the handle. She just go next door. And, wait for him to calm down. And he understood. He didn't get mad. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would still be fine. Go ahead.
Just to say that, even in that, because like you said, my mom, she tell me stories about her being a child. Like they said, you always hear this one day, they able to go to each other's house and borrow sugar, and they'll never tell you to, make sure you bring it back. No, they said bring it back when you can.
Exactly. Right. If you got it, I got it.
That's right.
I mean, we treat each other like that in UPK all the time. Hey, man, if you got it, I got it. If you ain't got it, let me know. I'll work something out.
Right.
You think we don't be working this stuff out with each other? If you don't, stay in UPK long enough. Stay in UPK long enough. You gonna work something out with a brother. Either you gonna need it, he gonna need it, or we all gonna need it.
That's right.
And we all gonna find a way to work it out. But it's gonna get worked out.
Damn
Trust
right.
me. And when it does work out, the only thing you can feel is a sense of family because that's what a nation does for each other.
Right.
That's the type of love you'll never get from anybody other than a person who looks exactly like you.
That's right.
That's it. And that's all Christ. That's the man. You know how much of that's what Christ embodied. That's the kingdom.
Gone.
Peace with your people. Y'all ruling, y'all reigning over y'all's own domain. Man,
Right.
how good does that sound? You ain't gotta have some oppressor knocking at your door asking for the rent money.
Right.
Ah, man, let me get back on subject. So yeah, COVID-19 is killing us, of course, and it's because we don't know how to kick our oppressor out.
Right.
So, for example, there was a pay. Y'all heard of Black Twitter?
Gone.
So somebody had shared a post from Black Twitter where they had put up something, and of course some Caucasian woman put a comment on it, and she got all Black Twitter got mad at her, and one of the comments was, "How do they even keep getting in here?" So I left the comment because y'all keep letting all of them in every time we do something, and I had a whole bunch of like laughing emojis on it, like people were like, thinking I was joking. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Every time we get something to do something, y'all start to let them in. And then after y'all let them in, they piss y'all off with smart ass comments. And then you wonder why they in here. You let them in. So if you want to have peace with your people, have peace with your people.
That's right.
There's no reason to have an oppressor in something called Black Twitter.
Right.
No reason at all. There's no reason to have oppressors working for something that's supposed to be called Black Entertainment Television.
Right.
Why is there? Why? There's no reason for their agenda to be there, but it's there.
Right.
That's our black leaders, and that's why our black people are dying from COVID-19.
Right.
That's one of the main reasons. Go ahead.
First thing I did when I came into the truth, I deleted all oppressors, all white people off my Facebook page. Every last one of them.
I'm not gonna tell you what I did. Officer Lahab always tells a story of what I did when I came into the truth as a business owner. It wasn't wise, but I had so much zeal. I had so much zeal, I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. I didn't want to be around them. You know what I'm saying? I was a young trooper. I was angry. I was, you know what I'm saying? I was just mad. So, man, I got rid of it. Salakia. But Officer Lahab loves telling that story. But, and it's because he's a business owner too.
Right.
So, and afterwards, I was like, okay, I know now that wasn't the wise thing to do. But, I was never told it was the wrong thing to do. I was just told it wasn't the wisest thing to do.
Right.
But it was just the zeal I had inside of me. I was like, finally, it felt like I had got unleashed.
Damn right.
And then, they had to, hey, all right, so let's bring it in and start doing things the wise way. And that's why I love the Isupk. So that's why we got COVID-19 is because we don't stay away from our oppressors. Even now, Easter, there was a church where the pastor got arrested for throwing an Easter service during the lockdown. I mean, okay, I'm gonna tell you why the Lord is with us. I ain't heard about one ISUBK school getting any leaders, any officers, nobody getting locked up yet.
Right.
I haven't heard about it.
Right.
If y'all have, let me know, and I'll stop saying it. But I haven't heard about it. I saw a video where the officer knocked on the door, and they was having, we was having class or whatever, and they talked to the officer in the wisest way, and an officer had, went on ahead and left, and he was like, y'all just make sure y'all doing everything safe. That pastor locked up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Lord ain't with him, apparently.
Right.
If our enemies come to us, everybody knows the police hate us.
Right.
We take them to court all the time and we win all the time.
That's right.
They don't like us. So when they have to come to us and they still can't do nothing to us, that's the Lord, man.
Damn
Right.
That's the Lord. That's your enemies. They ain't got no choice but to make peace with you. Go
I
ahead.
was about to say that. Ain't this a precept?
It's in Proverbs.
Enemies that make peace with thee.
Right.
Mm-hmm. It's my favorite. One of my favorite verses in Proverbs. So they ain't had no.
I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. One west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. They ain't scaring me. Rip the soul out of Pharisee. Speaking heresy and get you fucked up apparently. It's like they daring me. I said chill, they ain't hearing me. They ain't listening. Every bar nitroglycerin. Hit your heart, bring it back to start making live again. Get them dividends so we start getting ignorant. I be on that soldier shit. I told you shit phenomenal. Nominee abdominal. So what you suckers trying to do? Rhyming comical. Guess it's funny until I'm bombing you. Bring apocalypse to the pussy niggas that's popping shit. Team of all-stars. I coach them up like a Popovich. Fuck the politics and the lobbyists and apologists. They vagina so we gon' check them like gynecologists. It's kinda obvious how the situation is ominous. The way your vomit doesn't regurgitate for the audience. They start applauding this cause the competition is fraudulent. From the era where niggas smoking up like a parliament. The flow big stupid. Shit's gotten retarded since all the dominance of one west rising to prominent. Cause I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. They want a nigga quiet, use my maneuvers, but I ride like I got roof high for Uber. Rhymes hard like they been viewed by Medusa. 9 milli Luger, 17 in the Ruger. Only need a few to sit up in your medulla. Obligata for the regatta niggas while they win every dollar. They ride by like Apollos, let the semi holler. A showstopper, been as proper since a teeny bopper. But now I'm rolling up with all the premium of vodka. I put his pictures on the block, modify the chopper. Cause more heavy, more ready, and that's worth the mama. No marijuana say I got the love and silence on it. When I'm a baller, ain't no rapper do it like I do it. A lot of spitters and writers, but when they eat so, none of them can get to the fire around with me. And I had a nigga feel like a tire, a gat of D. And I'm still going some paper. Every bar burn hard like a spoon with a lighter. Feel the igniter, women coming through with the title because you be. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me. I be one west to the death till they bury me. I'm one west till they bury me.
Somebody said positive building, man.
They said somebody in our building, their family member had it. So they had to test them, and then they had to test the person who was training them, and they didn't pay the look.
So you don't even know if you came in contact with them.
We found out because the person who was training that had to be tested was one of our old PAs. So we just went over the outback.
Test 1, 2.
That's what it was.
2, 2, 2.
Everybody got the call yesterday.
2.
What's that?
All that.
Yeah,
All
see,
that.
All yeah, they said they came to work sick. They got another job. They said they got it from that job. They know they got it from. And they ain't been to work since. So it's been like 3 weeks. Trying to ease
All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I wasn't danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I wasn't danger. Decisions that I made provoked the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. Shot call to be known with the
Was too sincere for a wicked game. Shame the Lord's name. Now we afflicted with pain. All I ever wanted was to be respected by stand-up bitches. Now knowing that the handcuffs custom made. The all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. I wasn't dangerous. This shit is
I got strong, but we look stupid on the Modelo.
Decisions that I made before the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. I ain't lying, I was close to dying.
Nah, we good on strong. We
You
just ain't got Modelo.
You know what I mean, Coach? Well, you know what I mean, and you looking at this online right now? Okay, let me know if anybody comment.
Anybody needs strong, right here. I want y'all to keep this in mind, though. I can't do the strong and the Modelo.
In the place where a black man's blood is cheap. I thank the Lord for the day I was on Lake Street.
Hey, this gonna be the last song.
Back and forth to court, found in DC school. I swear it felt like I cried on that fucking porch. The Lord said, my sheep, they ain't hear my voice. Asked me why I'm UPK, I told them I ain't have a choice. They said God ain't 50-50 and what's gonna come to pass. The Lord called me out the world and I started running fast. All it was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made before the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was in danger. Decisions that I made before the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, but I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster. It should be paid until it hit the fan. I want power and a throne, nigga, fuck them grams. All I wanted was to be a gangster, but I was real as a righteous man. And now got the upper hand. Gotta promote this brand. Correct whole multitudes until they all understand. If I can't get that crown, Lord, then put me in the hands of someone more mighty make me this hit man. Reminiscing on the pain that was felt. Shit, I was in the jail. Shit, I needed help. But I was locked up in the judge, put man on the shelf. Heavy crimes, it felt like I was left by myself. All I wanted was to impress niggas with my grinding. Now I ain't trying to prove shit to nobody but Muhammad. Cause most these niggas lying for the smoke. One time for the most high, he made me a cutthroat. Cause all I ever wanted was to smash my opponent. Study cash, not knowing it wouldn't last. Then God, I hope you accept my atonement. Cause all I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was a gangster. Decisions that I made before the Lord's anger.
Yeah, man, Coach, you got the zombie band, don't you? Okay, cool.
All I ever wanted was to be a gangster. Little did I know I was a gangster. Decisions that I made before the Lord's anger. Prayed to him all the time, and I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a gangster.
No, that's enough. Hey, go ahead and clap it up. This is all right, y'all excited to be here today. This is the Isupk coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. If you are not in the Isupk, you are not in the truth.
Right.
And that's just plain and simple. I'm Officer Machaataza. You know, we're coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina right now. Charlotte, North Carolina is growing and growing. We got some strong young men in here. It's so wild to see y'all in here. Give yourselves a hand. Showing the Most High that y'all are not, afraid of this coronavirus. Y'all fear the Most High.
Yeah, right.
And the coronavirus is going to do what the Most High set it out to do.
Right.
Now, with that being said, we're going to touch on a subject before Officer Abraham gets here about another false doctrine that the Christian church and now even Islam is starting to pick up that is plaguing our people worse than the coronavirus. And that's this concept of you're going to die and go to this imaginary hell. So imagine you got the coronavirus and you scared you got the coronavirus because you think your life ain't right. And you think you about to die and go to an eternal hell where you about to get poked with pitchforks by these little short-looking demons with feet like goats and hands like reptiles and just some old crazy stuff. Like I remember when I was in the world being a Christian, and I never really could wrap my mind around the concept of, well, so you mean to tell me I can sin all I want, but if I just accept Jesus Christ on my deathbed,
Right.
I won't go to this eternal hellfire place thing that they talk about that we gonna go to? If you ask me, most of us deserve, any type of punishment that we're supposed to come, but an eternal hell, in the afterlife. Yeah, we just gotta investigate that and see if that's what'll happen if you die from the coronavirus.
Right.
So let's go ahead and get into it. If somebody would get me Matthew, young man Trav, give me Matthew chapter 10, verse 28. We're gonna see what Christ said about chapter 10, verse 28. We're gonna see what Christ said about what happens or how you would get punished. If you're gonna die and go to an eternal hell, or if let's just say, just out the blue, hell might be here. Last time I checked, slavery was hell.
Damn right.
When they was going through slavery, even after slavery, through the Jim Crow area, going through getting raped, and like General Mahan was bringing out last night, the sister was walking down the street, and some devils rode up on her and brought her in the car, and they raped her and then played inside of her until she couldn't have kids anymore.
Good night.
And that's not hell? So you mean to tell me we got to go through that hell, and then if we don't accept a God who looks like the people who did that to her, we're going to another hell? No, I can't accept that myself.
Nah.
If you can, young man, go ahead and read that for me.
This is the book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
Akim got it?
Con.
And fear not them which kill the body.
And to do what?
Fear not them which kill the body.
Don't fear this devil who's oppressing us every day just because they can kill your body, man.
Right.
You think Christ feared them? If he feared them, he wouldn't have been out doing what he was doing every single day.
Right.
During the time where Rome was ruling. During the time where Rome hated us then, just like Rome hates us now.
Right.
The same people who hated Christ hates us in this duplicate of a Roman Empire.
Right.
In this makeshift Egypt that they got us living in right now. It's all the same wickedness. It's the same thing with the same doctrines and the same gods and the same pagan holidays. It's all the same thing, and they still hate us just like they hated back then. Keep going.
But are not able to kill the soul.
But not able to kill the what?
The soul.
The soul. They can't touch your soul. They can't touch it. So if they able to kill this body, but they can't touch the soul, there's only one that can do that. Keep going.
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body.
But rather fear him that is able to destroy the soul and body where?
In hell.
In hell. So if your body, now you know the imaginary hell, young man, Colt, get hell for me in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. If you are able to destroy the soul and body, now we all know when you die, the whole thing is you're supposed to die and your soul leaves your body.
Right.
So how is your soul and your body getting destroyed in one place?
Right.
When you die, your soul leaves your body. So obviously your soul has not left your body when this punishment is happening. Read that again. Fear who?
But rather fear him which is able to destroy both soul and body.
Both soul and body. Go ahead.
In hell.
In where?
In hell.
So you getting your body and your soul destroyed in hell. That sounds like, something the Most High can do right here on earth. Let me ask y'all a question. So if we know Christ said things like the kingdom of heaven is in you, on earth as it is in heaven. The kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth, and we're going to be ruling on earth. If we know stuff like that is in the Bible, why would you think that, hell might not be on earth?
Right.
Doesn't that just make sense?
Damn right.
If you're able to destroy the soul and body in hell, then that sounds like we in hell right now. It sounds like we in hell right now. So I'd rather, not fear this white society and this oppressor and fear the one who can destroy my soul and my body.
That's
while
right.
I'm right here, where I can feel every single bit of it.
Right.
I don't want that. I don't know about you. I don't want it. You got the definition for me? Go ahead and read aloud.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Hell, place, and condition.
Or what?
Place and condition.
It's a place and a condition? You got to be kidding me. Is that what they say?
Place and a condition.
A place and a condition. That's what hell is. It's a place, which is right here, and it's a condition that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans have been living in since the 1400s.
That's
when
right.
we started getting put in slavery.
Right.
A lot of y'all didn't know it was before 1619. It was well before that. It was in the 1400s when they started rounding us up.
Right.
Like, it's been hell ever since. Imagine somebody grabbing you from your family, you going to a foreign country, getting raped, getting treated like cattle, and you just got to take it. That's not hell. I'm pretty sure that's hell. I'm pretty sure that's part of Jacob's troubles, like all them fake Israelite groups try to say we're going through now. We're not going through what our ancestors was going through in slavery.
Right.
We are not. We going through some bad stuff. We not going through that.
Right.
That did shit. Salaki.
Right.
Keep read that definition one more time.
Hell, place, and condition.
It's a place and a condition. If you could, brother, get me. Matter of fact, read 10. Start at the verse 28 again. And young man Code, if you could, on your phone, go on Google and see if you can find the origin of where the concept of hell came from. I'm gonna see how far that Google that you find to go back, because it goes back even probably further than what you're gonna find. Go ahead.
The book of Matthew, chapter 10, verse 28.
Mm-hmm.
And fear not them which kill the body,
Right.
but are not able to kill the soul.
But not able to kill the soul. Drop that. Let me get Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 16 through 17. Start at verse 16. And again, hell is such a fictionary concept that you would die and go to a hell. If you do research on what Jews believed before Christianity started taking control over the world, Jews never believed that there was a such thing as a place called hell that you would die and go to. They never believed that. Hell was always a place that was here on earth that you would go through. Always. But just like everything else here at the Isupk and the Commander General Yohana, we're gonna prove everything in the Bible.
Yeah, right.
But I guarantee you, it was never a thing. Ever. You got that for me, brother? Chapter 3, verse 16.
Come. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
Akim got it?
God.
And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment.
The place of judgment. And this place is where? Start at the beginning.
And moreover, I saw under the sun.
Under the sun. So I mean that's where Earth is.
Right.
That's where the planet Earth that we walk on every day. We're under the sun. Keep going.
The place of judgment.
The place of judgment. So we getting judged right here. Keep going.
That wickedness was there.
That wickedness was there. Wickedness is right here on the earth. You don't think we've been going through wickedness? All 2019, our Hispanic brothers went through hell.
Right.
They went through hell. Absolute hell. There's so many articles and stories that you can bring out about what the Hispanics went through, and they did not deserve not one bit of it.
Right.
Not one bit of it. They are trying to get away from a horrible hell, not knowing that they jumping into another hell.
Right.
But they are trying to get away from there because everybody outside of America thinks America is rich and lavish, and it's not. I was watching this show. Sometimes I like to watch them stupid shows on TLC because it blows my mind on how stupid people are, especially when it comes to like dating sites and all this. The 90 Day Fiance. Y'all ever heard that show? Good. 90 Day Fiance is a show where these people have been either have been dating or they just meet these people on the internet and they bring them over for 90 days so they can get their green card and then they marry them.
Good night.
So it's so many Hispanic sisters on there. So many Hispanic sisters on there trying to get away from Brazil, trying to get away from Venezuela and Mexico, and their idea of getting away from there and trying to get their family over here legally is by finding an Edomite, Esau, and making him fall in love with her, because of course our sisters are beautiful.
Right.
And making him fall in love and marry them. And once they marry him, shoot, it was one couple, they just ended season 6, I think last year, the year before, and they got a divorce 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago. Ain't last 2 years. But it was just so she can, now she had to sit around and sleep with a devil because she thought that was the best way to get her family out of hell. Now you can't tell me that that's hell. That's hell.
Yeah, right.
That is being in a hellish condition where you think you got to sleep with your oppressor, the person who destroyed your people and your country. You got to sleep with his children to try to get your family out of a hell just to bring them to a worse hell. Ah, man. You got that for me, brother? Read that one more time from the top.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 16.
Uh-huh.
And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there.
That wickedness was there. Keep going.
And the place of righteousness.
And the place of righteousness. So it sounds like a wicked place and a righteous place.
Right.
Keep going.
That iniquity was there.
That iniquity was there. Keep going.
Verse 17. I said in mine heart, the Most High shall judge the righteous.
The Most High shall judge the righteous. Keep going.
And the wicked.
And the wicked.
For there is a time there for every purpose.
So there is a time there under the sun. Remember what we're talking about. We're talking about on earth. Under the sun, there is a time. Keep going.
And for every work.
And for every work. You're going to get judged for everything that you do under this sun.
That's right.
Everything.
Right.
You got the, did you find something for me, brother, on that?
Con.
Go ahead. I'd love to hear what you found.
Okay, this is etymology.
Uh-huh.
The modern English word hell is derived from Old English hell, which is spelled H-E-L or H-E-L-L-E, first attested around 725 AD to refer to a netherworld of the dead, reaching into the Anglo-Saxon pagan period.
The who?
Anglo-Saxon pagan period.
The what?
Anglo-Saxon pagan period.
The Anglo-Saxon pagan period. Now I'm gonna let y'all in on a little secret. It goes back even further than that. I'm gonna give you one more try. and let you see if you can actually find out where the concept of hell came from. Oh, it goes back thousands of years before that, brother. Go ahead. Don't tell them the answer. Oh, okay. Don't tell him the answer. I want him to find it. I want him to really research. You can't just stop there.
I was gonna ask a question, but no.
Oh, was it? Okay. Yeah. If you think it might be the answer, then I want that brother to find it first, and then if it's not, we'll come back. But trust me, it goes back further than that. It definitely goes back further than that, and you probably know because you watch enough online classes and enough cross the line. But I'm telling you, it goes back further than that. If I could use my phone, I got an article and what's the word I'm looking for? A paper that a professor wrote that tells you exactly where it came from. The first known place that the concept of hell came from. And if you just think about America and what the Bible, again, the Bible, the Holy Bible, the big book, the big separate book, if you read this book, it tells you where it came from.
That's right.
It tells you exactly where it came from. Just think about America. What does America model itself after? Like, just think about that and hold that. Read that from the top again.
The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 3, verse 16. Verse 17.
Start verse 16 again.
Verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
And moreover, I saw under the sun.
Again, under the sun. I really want to drive this home because we know Earth is what's under the sun when the Bible is talking about that. It's not talking about some imaginary realm. It's talking about what's right in front of your face.
Damn right.
That's under the sun. You're under the sun right now.
Right.
Keep going.
The place of judgment.
The place of judgment. You're getting judged right now.
That's right.
For your past life. You don't think you're getting judged for your past life? I mean, one of the big rock scriptures of any Israelite group that they took from Isupk is Deuteronomy chapter 28. So we know why we went on the slave ships like it said we would in 28 and 68.
Right.
We know all of that. So we know what this means. Keep going.
That wickedness was there.
That wickedness was there. Keep going.
In the place of righteousness.
And the place of righteousness. Like, you got the Isupk, that's the place of righteousness.
Damn right.
And then you got America where homosexuality is okay. Pedophilia is okay. Believe it or not. Cheating on your brother is encouraged. Or cheating on your wife with your brother's sister and doing all this other stuff. Like, if you sleep with another man's woman, man, like I can't trust you. If you would sleep with another man's woman, whether you know him or not, I can't trust you.
Right.
If I have a woman, what makes you think I would want you around mine if you slept with his wife?
Right.
Oh, I don't know him like that. You know what I'm saying? We won't that close. That don't matter.
Right.
It does not matter. You're sleeping with someone else's woman.
Right.
Believe it or not, like the Bible says, that's someone else's property.
Right.
Damn right.
That's like, that's, and I'm not saying a woman is a car, but that's like you take my keys and drive my you take my keys and go drive my car, run the gas out, and bring it back. I don't even know that you drive my car. You think I'm man, get out of here. And that's much smaller than sleeping with my wife.
Yeah, right.
Much smaller. There's so many men in prison right now for killing a nigga for sleeping with his wife.
God.
So many. I got a older family member who did 8.5 years. I bring him up a lot. And he did 8.5 years, and a lot of the murderers who was in there, they murdered somebody for sleeping with their woman.
Right.
Leave them brothers' wives alone, man.
Right.
Keep going.
That wickedness was there.
Hold on, young man Colt, did you find it? Do you think you find it?
I can't.
You can't find it. All right, I'm gonna tell y'all for time's sake, because Officer Abraham is here. So in 2400 BC is the oldest concept of hell recorded. And can anybody tell me where it came from? Think of the time period, 2400 BC. Young man.
Slovakia. Is it Egypt?
You damn right. Give him a hand. Give him a hand. It's Egypt. He found the concept of hell came from Egypt. It came from Egypt. So all the Egyptologists and Kemet lovers and all that, y'all are Christians, man. Y'all Christians. And even in the article that I can bring up, it tells you they formed the concept of hell. Admittedly, the Egyptians formed the concept of hell to control the society with fear. That's why they created the concept of hell. So they can control the society with fear. And what did America do? They modeled themselves after Egypt.
Right.
And don't the Bible say that that's what they did?
Right.
It said that's what they was going to do. Rome did the exact same thing. And now America did the exact same thing with Rome.
Right.
And with Egypt. They gave you that fear. They gave us in slavery the fear of not accepting Christianity and going to an eternal hell just like Rome did and just like Egypt did.
God.
It's the same thing all over again. The same oppressors. The same evil wickedness under the sun like we was just reading. Drop that real quick and get me Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 22. I'm telling y'all right now, it was always, I bring this up all the time. It was always two things that I didn't believe when I was in the world in Christianity myself. One was the virgin birth. I never believed that crap. And the other was that we just gonna die and just go to this imaginary hell for eternity. It didn't make sense. You understand? It never made sense. No other society on the earth, other than the two or three I brought out, they don't believe that. Everybody else believes in regeneration or reincarnation. They don't believe in that crap. You got that for me? Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 32, verse 22.
Uh-huh.
For a fire is kindled in mine anger,
For a fire is kindled in my anger. Keep going.
and shall burn unto the lowest hell,
And shall burn unto the lowest hell. Keep going.
and shall consume the earth with her
And say,
increase.
whoa, hold on. And consume who?
The earth.
The who?
The earth.
So hell is on earth because it's going to consume the earth. The lowest hell is going to consume the earth. Start from the top.
Verse 22. For a fire is kindled in mine anger,
Uh-huh.
and shall burn unto the lowest hell,
And shall burn into the lowest hell. Keep going.
and shall consume the earth.
And shall consume the earth. It's not no imaginary place that you die and get poked by demons and they dancing around in a circle like Michael Jackson. When I look,
Right.
the reason I keep bringing up this dancing in a circle like Michael Jackson, there was this interview that they did on this little girl some years ago where she claimed that she had died, and when she died, she went to hell. The girl had to have been about 10 years old. She claimed she died and went to hell, and she said Michael Jackson was in hell when she was down there. And she said the demons was dancing around Michael Jackson in a circle, dancing like Michael Jackson. They was torturing Michael Jackson and dancing like Michael Jackson in a circle, doing the moonwalk and everything, and poking them with pitchforks. And I guess he was yelling out he while they was doing it. Like I don't know. I'm just telling you what the little girl said. That's what she said she saw when she died. Okay. And to this day, I was just like, that makes no sense at all. You still got your Zondervan Bible Dictionary out.
Come on.
Read that definition of hell again.
This is the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary.
Uh-huh.
Hell, place and
A
condition.
place and a condition. Hell's a condition.
That's right.
It's not no place you're gonna die and see Michael Jackson and Selena, and they're gonna be dancing around. Demons gonna be dancing around them in circles, with the one glove on, and poking them with pitchforks while they dancing like them. It's not. It's just know how psychotic it's a mental disorder. Right. Christianity is. I'm so glad I came out of Christianity. Y'all don't know my dad is he's a counselor. He has all kinds of bachelor's degrees, and he has a doctorate in this and all this other stuff. And when I was young, he used to make me read these psychology books. So, and I've also worked in the medical field for over 10 years. I know a medical disorder when I see it.
Right.
When I came out of Christianity, I was like, well, goddamn, I was retarded. I was retarded. I didn't research hard enough any of the stuff that I was just putting blind faith in, and I was just believing what I was brought up to believe, and I literally had a mental disorder. It's a mental disorder.
Right.
To believe that you're gonna die and go to an imaginary place forever is a mental disorder, and you're gonna get tortured there. That just sounds like a mind control tactic.
Right.
And like I was saying, it came from Egypt, and the reason that they made that was to control the people who was there.
Right.
Now, who do we know that was in slavery during Egypt's reign as a great empire? I think. Well, you might raise your hand first. Go ahead.
The Israelites.
Exactly, us. We were in slavery there. So who's in slavery in this Egypt? And they tried to teach us that bull. The same people. The exact same people.
Right.
They're not when the scriptures say that this is Egypt all over again. It's not just talking about the way they do stuff. The same slaves that Egypt had, this place has had. The same concept of what they try to control us with is the same thing. The way that Washington, D.C. was set up, it's the same way. It's all Egypt all over again. And it all goes back to them trying to control us with this concept of you not accepting their false god and you going to an eternal hell.
Right.
And getting, poked by demons that dance like Michael Jackson.
Pipe it up. All right.
Two. All that only was to be a gangster. All that only was to be a gangster. Lord said, confession good for the soul.
I swear to God, like I cried, decisions that I made were from the Lord's anger. Praying to a Lord in prayer when I was just a stranger. All I wanted was to be a
We're gonna do one more. Oh no, it's too hard. It's too hard. Fan feel good as hell. Hey, this is gonna be the last one.
Purchase your tracks today.
Truth and boasting it made niggas recruit. Had to shed light on the false image. You became home court. Now who the fuck on scrimmage to words for soft fix? What is good riddance? Don't affiliate with feminine symptoms. I know you feel me, nigga. This is death threat to hip hop. You don't stop that weak shit. I'ma mix your lean with some grimlock. When the last time you heard it this wrong? What I wish for is when the earth inherited by the fistful.
They say what that's what it was. The article I was reading didn't say.
I know you feel me, nigga. Let the
Usually some suicide. Yeah, usually somebody with that big a name, if they commit suicide, the family don't want to know, they won't put it in no article. They just say he gone. Hell, man. Probably not making it to the NFL. Everybody ain't happy for their brother. Like, we get into it in class, I promise. As a matter of fact, if you pull up an article about that, about just him. It don't gotta be about him committing suicide, just something about him dying. Resurrected from the grave, walking from the fall. Visions in my eyes, gripping the mic, screaming, God bless the underdog, down by the letter. And live by that protocol, walk by faith, not by sight. Ain't no hope for getting struck. Life like I'm a war receipt, or get pulled into a world that never left. I will endure, election will be sure, correction will be swift. No Will Smith, but I am blessed. What else would you call the killer of deception? A leader got soldiers on post in every direction. All gold like a German chef, dug in a restless sweat, honor like a diamond necklace. I know you feel me, nigga.
Purchase your tracks today.
All right, clap it up. I'm Officer Machaataza. This is Isupk coming out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. We are not affiliated with any other Israelite group. If you've been on social media from the past 2 or 3 weeks, especially since this Corona thing been going on, you'll see why we're not affiliated with any other Israelite group.
Right.
And I don't have to say no more about that. So it's been a lot going on. Of course, last night, you know, they just had a so-called NFL draft and everything. I didn't even know what was going on until I woke up this morning. And lo and behold, they still found a way to auction off Negroes,
Right.
you know, to their new slave trade. Even in the coronavirus, they still finding ways for you to sit at home and get auctioned off at the highest bidder. So we're going to go into a little bit of that. We're going to go into the main thing we're going to focus on today is if our people knew who we were in this Bible, a lot of the things that we do, we wouldn't do. But that's part of our curse from not obeying the Most High. Like we went over the curses last week. Right. So today we're going to go over one of the things that was stripped from us, which was part of the curse, which is who we are in this Bible, which is, it's all in the Bible that these people were people of color.
Right.
These people were Negroes and Hispanics and what you call Hispanics and Native American Indians. These people were people who looked like us.
Right. That's right.
And like your cousins and, you know, your nephews and nieces, your aunts and uncles. Right. They looked like you. And one of the things that us as a people, what stops, let's say the so-called Jewish man that stole our culture and our identity and then butchered it. He, just from him thinking that he is who he is, makes him do more than what he would be able to do if he knew exactly who he was.
Right.
You understand? If he knew that he was the lowest piece of scum on earth, and he knew that for a fact, which some of them do, but if he knew that for a fact, they wouldn't own the Diamond District. Right. They wouldn't have even had the money. You know, they've been rich for years. They've been rich since the 8th century. They've been a dynasty since the 8th century, and they've been weaseling their way through history like a rat, and stealing cultures, stealing identities, and they found ours and was like, this is it. This is who we're gonna be.
God.
And if we make ourselves these people, then we can be above everybody else.
Right.
And they did it, and they did it in the most corrupt way they could. And I mean, they did it in a nasty way. Even after they found out who the actual people were, they knew back then. But after we left Jerusalem and they found us again, they helped sell us into slavery.
Right.
So you have to. That's evil. Like that's self-explanatory. But we're gonna get into who these people are in the scriptures. So things like Prescott's brother. What was his brother's name? Jace Prescott. He was a offensive lineman for, I believe, Northwestern College. What college was that? I believe it was Northwestern. It's like a purple and silver color college. It's a D1 school. He was a big man. And of course, all our warriors are either boxing or they on the football field, the basketball courts, you know what I'm saying, in the hood somewhere selling drugs, you know what I'm saying, doing something that puts them in a conflict because they warriors. Warriors need conflict.
Right.
Warriors need to fight.
Right.
Well,
Northwestern
State.
State.
In Louisiana. So I'll put it like this. If I knew the information that I'm gonna bring out tonight, I wouldn't have joined Esau's military.
Right.
I wouldn't have tried to go to college and play football. I wouldn't have boxed after high school. I wouldn't have done the things that I did because I would have known I need to be a warrior for my people, and not been a gladiator slave.
That's right.
for our oppressor, who was the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
I would have been doing what I was doing now. Imagine if all y'all knew at 17, 18, the information you knew now and acted on it. Imagine where we'd be right now.
Right.
And that's how we have to look at our people. When you hear stories like this, you know, you been in the, you know, when we was in the world, we'd think of it as, oh, that brother shouldn't have, you know what I'm saying? He weak-minded. He that. Being in here, we know our brother was just another destroyed brother.
Right.
He was a destroyed brother who couldn't handle the pressure of his brother is out there being a high-paid slave. He wanted to be a high-paid slave because his mind is so destroyed. Instead of trying to fight for his people, he did something as destructive as destroying himself and killing himself.
God.
And now his family is going to have to live with the fact that he killed himself. And they're not going to know why. But it's because black people are destroyed by our oppressor. What else would make as strong at all the things that black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians have been through, what would be so horrible to make you commit suicide? Because it wasn't none of the physical abuse that we went through. Even as slaves, we fought. But they figured out with that crafty counsel, hey, we got to start affecting their minds.
Right.
We got to start systematically breaking them down. We can't do it physically no more. They starting to have rebellions. They always talk about the Nat Turner rebellion. Did you get an article on it? No, not on Nat Turner, on Jace Prescott. You got one? Okay, we're going to start reading in a minute. When Nat Turner did his rebellion, people, what they don't tell you in school, they just tell you Nat Turner did a rebellion and then he died and he became a hero. What they don't tell you is that it sparked over 210 more slave rebellions.
Right.
They don't tell you that part. They don't tell you that's what pushed them into creating the, I always butcher it, the Emancipation Proclamation. That's what forced our oppressor into making that. It wasn't, they just all of a sudden one day our oppressor had to change their heart. After all that abuse, all of a sudden they had to change their heart. Abraham Lincoln said himself he didn't give a damn about slaves. He said it himself. It is a quote. You can go on Google or whatever you want to do. He said it himself. He didn't give a damn about us. Right. That is not why he put that into play. And that's why in the 13th Amendment, if you go to jail, you are a slave again.
Right.
It says it in it. You are now a legal slave. And that's why you get drugs planted on you.
Right.
That's why you got videos of cops, they searching the car and then they accidentally show themselves on body cam planting heroin in the car. Right. And then they plant the bag, search some other stuff and go back where they plant the bag and, what is this? Mm-hmm. It's the shit that you put there, Salakia. It's what you put in there. So that brother have to go to prison and make clothes for 5 cents, a day. And at the end of the week, he got, 35, 45 cents. And You know, then he can use that to buy a couple of honey buns and some deodorant.
Right.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's slave. You just another slave. You got a article on him. It's Jace Prescott. Go ahead.
Older brother of Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott dies, age 31. As his uncle says, it's the worst day of all our lives.
Now, what they're not saying is what the brothers just told me, because I read 2 articles on it. I'm like, none of these articles are saying what this man died of. I'm thinking, oh, he must have died of the coronavirus, and they don't want nobody to know. Mm-hmm. But other celebrities have died of the coronavirus, or have gotten sick from it, and they let everybody know. So why didn't they let us know what, this young man died of? Keep going.
Jace Prescott, the older brother of Dallas Cowboys quarterback Dak Prescott, died Thursday morning, the NFL team has announced. He was 31. The Cowboys confirmed Jace Prescott's death in a brief statement on Thursday night. There was no information on how Jace Prescott had died.
There was no information on how Jace Prescott had died. Now, with Officer Shibayala and Trooper Baez, what did y'all say how he died?
Suicide.
Of damn suicide. That's why they're not saying it in none of the articles that you're going to find on Google. And that's a damn shame.
Right.
It's a damn shame. That was a strong brother. It pisses me off. Because we know he committed suicide because his mind was destroyed in this wicked kingdom.
Right.
It had nothing to do with his brother being in the NFL. All that is an afterthought. All that is a product of his mind already being destroyed. He went to college. He played in college. He went through all his classes. He went through high school, middle school. He went through all Press's education, all of this other stuff. We Love the World. He heard the same BS stuff that you heard, and he ended up killing himself with a multimillionaire brother that he could have stayed alive and supported, but he was so destroyed he killed himself. If he knew what we're about to bring out tonight, he wouldn't have done that. And that's why the Isupk is here today.
That's right.
We have to save our people from not only being destroyed by our oppressor, but they're so systematically destroyed in the mind that they won't destroy themselves. Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. That's one thing I can say about the Isupk. Before I stepped through these doors, my life never really had a purpose.
Right.
But now I feel like I got a purpose.
You damn right. Get that brother a hand, because that's what he said is what so many brothers say when they come into this school. Not only do they give you a purpose, they give you the purpose of your life.
Right.
What was I put here to do? You was put here to serve your people.
Right.
You was put here to save your brothers and your sisters from this wicked hell. That's what you was put here for. You weren't put here to shoot a basketball in a hoop.
Right.
You won't put here to run to see how fast your 40-yard dash was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's important to us because that's how we grew up. But that's not what you was put here for. The Most High don't give a damn how fast your 40 is.
Right.
He don't give a damn how hard you can swing a golf club. He don't care how fast you can throw a curveball or how far you can hit that baseball out the park.
Don't.
Exactly. He don't or dunk. The Most High ain't up there watching dunk contests and saying, "Oh yeah, look at my special people, boy."
Right.
You know, they under the legs, around the back, 360, boom. Like the Most High ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And when they sitting there, oh, thank you, Jesus. You know, who was that Randy Moss just got put in the NFL Hall of Fame? And when they opened the door where his family was, all you heard in the family was, "Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus." I'm like, what does Jesus have to do with this man playing football? What does he have to do with that? Nothing. Christ had absolutely nothing to do with sports. He was out here feeding the homeless, raising the dead, healing the sick,
Right.
and you thanking him for your son being put into a Hall of Fame that will soon be destroyed and forgotten.
Right.
Soon as this empire, how many famous gladiators can you name that got put in the Gladiator Hall of Fame from Rome? Anybody? No, I didn't think so. Nobody's gonna remember Randy Moss.
Right.
In 1,000 years, Randy Moss's name will be gone. That's it. But the priests and prophets of the Lord's name, they're gonna live on.
That's right.
These people in this book, in this Bible, their names live on to this day.
That's right.
All the way from the even in different translations or transliterations, however you want to say it, from the Greek, from the Hebrew to the Greek to the English to the Old English to the New English, those names live on.
Right.
Christ's name is still here, and he's still the most famous person on this earth. A
That's
black
right.
man, still the most famous person ever.
God.
And we're gonna prove that he was black, and we're gonna prove that everybody in this Bible had color. Everybody except for Esau. Nobody give a damn about him.
Right.
So let's give me matter of fact, let's just start. Let's go jump right into it. Give me Revelations chapter 1 verse 13 if you could. And then, like I said, this is going to be so important. A lot of us has heard these scriptures before. I'm also going to be bringing out some book references. Going to be bringing out a couple of little articles, little passaging articles. There was a couple of other things that I wanted to bring out. Next time I do a class on color or on what history says the color of the people in the Bible were, it's going to be a class. But right now, I want y'all to really focus on these scriptures. And if you need a little bit of a reference, we can back it up with this. You got that for me, brother? Revelations 1 and 13.
Con.
Okay, go ahead. Now, it's a lot in here that I could explain. But like I said, we're gonna focus on what the color of these people were and why there's even color in these scriptures. Go ahead.
This is the book of Revelations, chapter 1, verse 13.
Mm-hmm.
Akim and Akwak got him.
God.
Salakia, what am I sipping on?
Johnny Walker Black Labels.
Good night. This thing is smooth. Go ahead. Salakia.
And in the midst of the 7 candlesticks,
Mm-hmm.
one like unto the Son of Man,
Right.
clothed with a garment down to the foot,
Mm-hmm.
and girt about the paps with a golden girdle.
So right now it's describing. This is John seeing a vision of Christ, and he's describing what he has on. He's going to describe what he looks like and everything. Now, again, why is it so important that he's describing what he has on, what he looks like, everything else? Keep going.
Verse 14, his head and his hairs were white like wool,
Mm-hmm.
as white as snow.
So his hair on his head was white like wool. And when it's saying like wool, it's saying it's white like wool. It's giving you a description on the texture, not just the color, but also the texture of his hair.
Right.
He's saying like he got this white woolly hair. Like it's white and it's woolly. So it's like sheep's wool, because sheep's wool is white and woolly. Keep going. Easy. Matter of fact, if you look at my little puff ball I got up here, Salakia, it's wool. It's, it's like a sheep's wool. There's plenty of brothers in here. Young man Anthony, hair woolly, growing that hair out. Most High in Christ. Young man Colt, growing that hair out. The other brothers, if they could, they would. I promise you. It's like, y'all know I'm messing with you. Go ahead.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
I was as a flame of fire. Keep going.
Verse 15.
Hold on. First of all, the picture of Caesar Borgia that they have up in all the Christian churches, I think I've seen in my lifetime, and they weren't in my hometown. I saw these on television. Couldn't even see them in person, where they actually have a color, a Christ that is black. I watched a video of a church that had closed down and got sold to Mormons, and when they was trying to clean up the church and break all the Christian stuff out of it, they found this huge sculpture of Christ and the 12 disciples sitting at a table, and all of them was Negroes. And not only were they Negroes, they couldn't destroy the sculpture. They couldn't do nothing with it because it was so solidly built, and it was built in 1982. And they were trying to renovate it, I believe, last year in 2019. and the sculpture was so amazing, it ended up on the news. Like even the oppressors was like, "Hey, we can't even do no. We got to put this on the news," and they put it on the news. They brought the guy who had etched out the sculpture of this, black Jesus and his black disciples is still to this day a professor at Howard University. Again, we just telling you, colleges know who the real Jews are.
That's right.
A lot of the books, if you go on isupk.com, they use those books in Harvard and Yale and a lot of other places. So they know who you are historically. They know who you are. They know how the white Jews of today came about. Right. They know all of that. It's no secret. Okay, but it might have been only 2 churches where I've seen a black depiction of Christ. Even when I was in Korea, I saw a Korean Christ statue. I mean, he had the little eyes and all, little eyes, little snub nose, little fat cheeks, all that. Little Korean Christ. But when you go to most black churches, what's their Christ? Their Christ is white. He is Caucasian, out of the mountains of Caucasus. He is Esau all the way down to the hair, nail follicles, the blue eyes, no beard half the time. You know what I'm saying? So when the scriptures say that they ripped a piece of Christ's beard out when they was beating on him, and this Esau ain't got no beard, what are they talking about? It said his eyes is like a flame of fire, and he got blue eyes, looking all homosexual, leaning his head to the side.
Right.
What are they talking about? When they say he got white hair like wool, say again. Yeah, throwing up the little gang sign, the Messianic as above, so below, little look. That homosexual, come on, man. Hair like wool, and he got his stringy dog, like hair like a Cocker Spaniel. No, man, keep going.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire. Verse 15. And his feet like
meat and potatoes. Go ahead.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
Now, when this is of course written in Old English, this is King James version. It's written in Old English. When it says like unto fine brass, in Old English, brass is a derivative of brown. Right. So when you say it's like fine brass, it's like a fine brown. Keep going, because it's more on that. A lot of people, I like this verse. Because a lot of people, even in the y'all seen that movie, that Malcolm X movie? What's it called? That Denzel was in? Is it Malcolm X? Okay. Even in that movie, when he says this verse, he leaves this part out. Go ahead.
As if they burned in a furnace.
As if they burned in a furnace. Christ was dark.
Right.
Dark.
Right.
He was a black man. If you could, brother, you got if you could go to some of the stuff I had sent you. There's a description. Did you read any of it? Okay, there's a description. You know which one I'm talking about, right? The Flavius Josephus description. It might be the first or second one. You got it? Go ahead, whenever you're ready.
At that time also there appeared a certain man of magic power.
So he's talking about during the time of Christ, in the earlier ADs. Of course, we know when Christ came, you had John the Baptist out prophesying, baptizing people with water, and all of a sudden, it's Christ's time to come. So he appears. Go ahead. And he said, this says that his description was a man of magic power, but as it goes on, it'll tell you what his prophets, what the actual Jews said about Christ. They didn't say he had magic. Right. Keep going.
If it be meet to call him a man, whose name is Yahweh.
Right. Keep going.
Whom certain Greeks call a son of the Most High.
Now, just for the sake of the class, just read it how it is. I'll break it down for that. But it said a certain man called Jesus, which is Yahushua in the Hebrew. Y'all so ignorantly call him Jesus Christ. And what was the next part?
Whom certain Greeks call a son of God.
Who certain who?
Greeks.
Certain who?
Greeks.
Certain Greeks call him a son of God. Keep going.
But his disciples.
the men he was teaching, the men under him, keep going.
Called the true prophet.
Called the true prophet. They didn't call him a god. They didn't call him the Most High like Christians call him. The men who followed him called him prophets. That's what they called him. That's what Christ was. He was a prophet. He was a prophet. Yeah, he was the son of God. We all children of the Most High. Because we were the ones adopted. We were the ones given the law. We were the ones have the covenant. They called him the true prophet. He was the prophet that was prophesied about way back in Moses' time. They didn't call him a god like the Greeks do or like Christians do to this day. They say Jesus was the Most High, came into a flesh like the Greek gods do, came in flesh. So God, the Spirit of God, had sex with Mary some kind of way, impregnated Mary, which sounds like the Zeus stories. And then not only did God himself as a spirit impregnate Mary, but then the, I guess, spiritual sperm that came out of God had God. But what did his disciples call him?
The true prophet.
The true prophet. He was a prophet. He wasn't God. He was the prophet. He was the true prophet. He was the one that was already prophesied about to come. Go ahead.
Who was supposed to have raised dead persons.
Who was supposed to have raised dead persons. And we know in our Israelite records and our ancestral records, we know he raised dead people.
Right.
Keep going.
And to have cured all diseases.
And we know he cured all them diseases. And then told him to do what after that? Somebody raise your hand. Go ahead.
Go and sin no more.
Go and sin no more. Now, why don't your pastor tell you that? He said the law was done away with. We know sin is what? Go ahead.
Transgression against the law.
All right, and who was the law given to? Trooper by eyes. What? I want a scripture.
Psalm 147, 19 to 20.
Damn right. Get that brother a hand. I thought I was going to get you. I was serious about last week. You might get that question every week. Go ahead.
Both his nature and form. Wait.
Take your time.
Who was supposed to have raised dead persons.
Right.
And to have cured all diseases.
Right.
Both his nature and his form were human.
Right. They were human. We know he was the son of who? Somebody raise your hand.
Joseph.
He was the son of Joseph. Who was the son of who? You can go back further than his actual father. Go ahead.
Judah.
The son of Judah. David. There you go. He was the son of David. They call Christ the son of David all the time. They called him the son of Joseph. He was a man. Keep going.
For he was a man of simple appearance.
Simple appearance. Keep going.
Mature age.
Mature age,
Black skin.
What?
Black skin.
Where'd it come from? This is, if y'all ain't know, Josephus lived during that time. So he said he was what?
Black skin.
He was black skinned. Like he won't, you know what I'm saying? That whatever they showing on all these movies, and when you go into that Christian church, that's not Christ. I don't know. That is Caesar Borgia. And sometimes when I look at them, they ain't even Caesar. I don't know who the hell that is sometimes. they done changed the look of Christ so much. As long as he's not a nigga. They have changed the look of him. It's a new one. They on Netflix. I think it's called Messiah or something like that, where he's supposed to be walking around today and he got all these followers, like a cult following, and they trying to figure out if he a terrorist or whatever. And he looked like he from Iran. As long as he's not a nigga, they will paint him any way they want to. But he cannot be what he is supposed to be. He cannot be a nigga.
Right.
There's no way in hell he can be a nigga. They don't even give a damn Hispanic Christ. They don't even give you that. But I tell you one thing, he not gonna be no nigga. Keep going.
Prognathus.
You skip that word. That's that Greek stuff.
With a long face.
With a long face. Keep going.
A long nose.
Long nose. I know. Hold on. I know a couple of niggas with long noses. Keep going.
Right. With scanty and curly hair.
And what hair?
Scanty and curly hair.
He had curly hair. He had, had some nappy hair. He had scanty and curly hair. He probably had a fro. It sounded like a fro. Right. That's what it sounded like. Scanty, curly hair sound like a fro. Who knows? Keep going.
but having a line in the middle of the head,
Keep going.
after the fashion of the Nazarene.
What did they call Christ? What? Did you say it? Go ahead.
Nazarene.
Hey, they called him a Nazarene because he was from Nazareth. Keep going.
With an undeveloped beard.
With the undeveloped beard, so his beard was a little patchy. You know, we got plenty of brothers in the school who have patchy beards. Everybody, yeah. If y'all don't know this, if I shave my beard down, I have a bald patch right here. I have another one up under here. I don't feel too bad now.
Right.
Hey, everybody can't be like what's the brother's name that got that beard all the way down to here?
Ayash Cabo. Oakland.
Yeah, Ayash. Beard, it got the gray in it too.
Mm-hmm.
Beard all the way down to here, and it's curvy and it's wavy. Most high in Christ for that brother. Hey, I wish I could get a beard like that. For some reason, mine are all uneven and grow long in the front and short in the back. I don't know. That's the beard the Most High gave me. I'm gonna rock it how I can.
Right.
You understand? But Christ had one too. And why did he have it? Because it was law. If you can grow a beard, grow it out. And you don't start trimming the edges around and making the little skinny goatee that the pedophiles wear. Right. That go after the little 14-year-old high school girls. You don't wear that. You grow your beard out like a man and be a man about it. That's right. Understand?
Damn right.
You drop that. Get me Song of Solomon 1 and 5. I love this scripture. And there's so many reasons I love this one. And this is when people ask about the color of the Jews or the color of Christ or the color of anybody in the Bible, I always take them to this. Always. Because they try to refute the other ones. They try to say, what they want to say about the Revelations one, even though they always get cut every time. But this one, there's nothing you can say about this scripture. Absolutely nothing. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, verse 5. And this is, like I was saying last week, there's always certain scriptures that stick out in my head when it comes to certain subjects. This is one of the ones that stick out to me, and I never forget this scripture. Because when I first heard it, I was like, that's in the Bible about Solomon? But like I said, that's just me. It stuck out